Here we go. And we're live.
Welcome.
What's up, y'all?
So you have to forgive me. I'm actually watching Ryan Hall right now. So,
Yeah, because we're going through the apocalypse storms right now.
yeah, it's like several tornado display or tornado warnings are out. And it looks like there were some south of us. I know my kids are at the school right now for practices. They had to go in the locker rooms. So nothing hit, but precautions within a certain amount of time. I think they were way south of there, but so some pretty interesting weather.
It rained like Noah today.
Oh, it's crazy. It's some of the lightning. I mean, it's like 10-mile long lightning bolts that are going all the way. I've never heard like lightning warnings except for that one time on top of Indian Staircase.
Right. Hey, Tanya, welcome.
Hey, Tanya.
Oh, I didn't pull. Did you send me that link for Tanya, by the way?
I did. It's in your email.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll pull it up. Do we want to lead with that, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, go ahead. Actually, yeah, why not? Because I'm actually excited about that. So Tanya's Sasquatch soap, the Seeking Sasquatch, right there, if you can see that, is back in stock. I think that thing sold out like 3 times in less than a day. That was insane. So
I like what I see.
Yeah.
Like what you see? I do.
Yeah. It has to be the best smelling soap other than maybe the campfire and cat hole soap. That one smells really good too.
Yeah.
So, but definitely, I'm definitely going to order a couple when we get off of here, but I encourage everyone to really, really get into the Seeking Sasquatch. The amazing thing, the black Sasquatch that's on it, he disappears like he does in the woods too. As soon as you use it, it's amazing. I don't know how she does that.
I don't know if she planned that, but that's pretty clever.
It was very clever. It's marketing genius right there.
Exactly. What's up, Jason? Welcome, man. Your top 2 sellers, really?
What? That's awesome. That's awesome.
And we haven't. And Campfires and Cat Holes hasn't done a stream in a while. I'm glad you're still selling them though.
That's hilarious, man. It's fantastic. Well, let's get into our topic. So
let's do it.
I mean, we don't really have a guest. I don't think we're not looking at having a guest the next couple of episodes because I figure we got a lot to talk about. And tonight's kind of the overlanding versus backpacking moment. So, there's always that contrast. Everybody either starts at one or has their personal preference. So what would your preference be if you could do overlanding or backpacking? Which way would you go?
I don't know. There's times where I just don't want to backpack. There's times where I'm like, I just don't want to do it. But then there's also times I'd rather do it than overland. So I would say if I'm tired, I'd rather do overlanding. But if I have any kind of energy, I kind of like to backpack, a little bit. But then again, I'm not a long trail guy. I'm a hike to camp guy.
Yeah. Yeah. What kind of miles do you normally do? Like, what is your average mile, do you think, for backpacking?
Well, here lately, it's been 0.
0.
Right. But I mean, we go out to the Deem and you can get to anywhere within 5 miles. And so I'd say 2 miles, a mile and a half, 2 miles. And that's just because that's where I know all the good campsites are out there. But 5 miles out to the peninsula. But yeah, I don't not very far.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the things for me that determines on which one I want to do. It's like, how many miles do I want to cover? I can see a lot more of the country, which I have seen a lot more of the country overlanding than I have backpacking. Like when I did backpacking for the most part, I mean, I still do, I guess.
You did.
Yeah. I guess I still do. I just don't make the videos like I used to for backpacking. It's just kind of take the trips and enjoy it. But, I mean, honestly, when I'm doing who's around the lake, Chris doing it.
Yeah, we did a lot more miles when Jason was up. Of course, he does that to you. I'm sure you did more miles with Jason when he was up too, the week before.
I don't mind the miles. I really don't. Because I kind of get antsy if I'm sitting around in camp too long. So I actually prefer the miles. I mean, used to, it would be anywhere from 15 to where I think the most miles I did in a day was like 27. And I think
22 is mine.
yeah, well, Laurel Highland was my most miles in a trip where I did like the 70 in the 3 days. And then, but really, I mean, I've done some trips that were just as hard and they were only 8 or 9 mile days. I mean, you're talking like what Linville Gorge, Is That All You Got loop. I mean, I did that in actually 2.5 days, and that was recommended 3 to 4.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I wasn't afraid to do miles, but I do notice that, I mean, if I'm going out and doing 3 or 4 miles and it's with people I really enjoy being around, the camp's not so bad. You know, I don't have to get to a destination. I can just enjoy the camaraderie, which I think that's something that backpacking brings to the table that overlanding doesn't necessarily. You know, you kind of have more of that campfire experience.
Yeah.
Outdoors. Hey, welcome, Ron.
Jason, I don't doubt that you were out last night. You're always out, bro. You get to all that.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I need more miles to burn energy or else I can't. 100% agree with that. 100%. And you know what? Rod Outdoors. I mean, sometimes even though I get tired, just that first night in the woods, I don't sleep that good anyways. You know, I don't know if it's just the change of environment or what, but I usually need to get through that first night before I finally start sleeping good.
Well, you do well when you have to chop all the wood and cook all the food, and then you sleep well. I've
Yeah.
noticed that.
Yeah, I did sleep well that night. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was a lot.
That's ridiculous. You did a ridiculous amount of work, and we're all just sitting there eating chips, watching you. Well,
Yeah, but I don't mind it though. I don't mind it. I feel like I'm being useful. You know what I mean? Like I actually kind of enjoy that part of it. So, but I mean, when it comes down to backpacking, I can tell you, like I've got 1 or 2 really good trips that I want to do,
mhm.
but most of them that I'm interested in, I've gotten to do. You know, it's like Wind River Range, you know, Colorado. There's some redos I want to do, like the 4 Pass Loop. I want to redo at Colorado. Isle Royale, I want to redo just because that was my first, and I feel like I could probably really truck and see a lot of the island right now versus what I
Yeah.
could with my first pack. You know, there's
I'm
just a
I'm
lot.
headed to Colorado tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah. Colorado Springs, is it?
Although they've got like 10 feet of snow dumped on them, so that'll be fun. That'll be fun airplane landing.
Oh, coyotes howling last night in Red River Gorge. That is the coolest thing. I
Yeah.
actually enjoy that. JMT, John Kelly in the house. Good to see him.
What's up, John?
Jeremy's great at campfires. Yeah, that's my superpower, I think. So, which I called John Kelly like before this, and it's so funny. The phone rang. He answered it, and the first words out of his mouth wasn't hello. It was, "You give Jason your recipe for the chili dogs." So,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why. Yeah. That's like, I saw that on his video. I was like, oh no.
I don't mind. I don't mind. The chili sauce, yeah, that's hilarious. Oh man. But you know, when it comes down to planning though, let me ask you this. What when you're looking at planning a overlanding trip versus a backpacking trip, how left and right is it? I mean, it's polar opposites, right? Is it for you? I mean, I know it is for me, I should say.
So, well, we both know that I tend to bring too much stuff on both, right?
Yeah.
So I know that, like when we did this last trip, I had the back of my Forerunner was over full of crap and every. I always look like Sanford and Son anyway,
Yeah.
like I'm hauling junk. But I'd say it's the same thing kind of, because you focus on, food, hygiene, comfort, sleep comfort. So it's the same kind of concepts, but it's just the you don't have to worry about the weight with the overlanding,
Right.
and so you can bring more stupid stuff like I do.
Yeah, I mean, you can literally pack your fears and not worry about it, right? Because you're not carrying it.
Yeah, yeah, and but then you tend to overdo things because, like, well, I'm going to need this hammer, obviously.
Yeah.
I need this hair tie.
The
I need this
splitting
hair.
axe, the
Yeah,
chainsaw.
I need this hair tie.
Yeah. No,
But but like on for backpacking, you can't do that. You've only got so much you can bring.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing I'm learning because I'm really still in my infant stage with the overlanding. At least I consider myself that at this point. With backpacking, it was like, okay, you start now with a 60-pound pack. You know, you're packing everything, including 5 different sets of batteries, 3
Yeah,
different ways to store water. I mean, like all the mistakes that you could make, and maybe they're not mistakes. Maybe you want to carry all that stuff. You know, I mean, I backpacked with a dude that wanted to carry a hammer. I mean, no judgment to him.
sure that wasn't me.
No, but if you do, I mean, now you're the second
Dude,
person.
I have brought the dumbest things out there because I think I'm going to need it. And
Yeah,
for one thing, well, it's not this Red River Gorge, not last year. It was like the year before, when in the fall, when Carlson and I went down there. I My pack was so heavy, and I hadn't done that for a while. Like, I haven't overpacked on a backpack for a long time, but
sure.
it weighed about 38 pounds. And we stopped right before we were getting on the trail, and we both had a giant Whopper. I threw up 3 times on the way
Mm.
because my pack was so heavy, and I had just had a giant Whopper. And so, yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, I think that's the thing too. It's like if what that at least made me start paring down my pack. You know, am I an ultralight guy? No, not really. I mean, I had a point in my life where I wanted to see how little I could carry. I mean, that was just a challenge to me. It's not that I was worried about carrying it, but okay, I want to see if I can get down to 7-pound base weight. You know, just to see if I could do it. And I think the biggest thing for me on paring down my gear, uh, I think what made it easy was buying a smaller pack. You know, my very first pack, I went out, it's like I'm actually buying all this stuff. Well, first off, I bought a big backpack. You know, I bought like a 65, 70-liter backpack. Then it's like, okay, I've got extra pockets. I can put all this stuff in here. I've got extra room. I can now pack this. You're just adding things over and over again. So when I went to like a 30-liter pack for my backpacking backpack, or as David calls my day pack, that made me rethink on how, not only how am I packing things, what do I really need? Because I was like carrying stuff I wouldn't use on a trip. I mean, some
Yeah.
of that's, some of that gear I'd never even used. So it's like, why did I take a spoon and a fork? I could have
So
just got a,
how do you correlate the same concept to overlanding? Because you still need the same 5 basic things. So, but and especially if you sleep in your vehicle like I do, you have to move all that stuff out just so you can sleep.
yeah.
And that's the part I'm struggling with, I think.
Okay, so what I'm doing the same thing. It's like, what do I need? What do I not need? Um, and I'm allowing myself certain amount of totes to be able to, like, I know how much room I have in the back of the Bronco. It's not a ton. I mean, I can lay down in the back of the Bronco and I can pile up everything on the passenger side, and I can still lay down on the driver's side and have plenty of room. I have plenty of room, like shoulder room, elbow room, whatever. So I know the amount of space I have to work with, which allows me to say, okay, I've got 2 totes worth of stuff I can use. Now, in those 2 totes, what do I need? I'm going to start off with what I need first. After that, what do I have room to add? I know my end result of what I want when I sleep in the Bronco, but I also know how I want things while I'm driving too. Because I want the seats up when I'm driving. I don't want to
Yeah.
have stuff like all laid down because then it's flopping all over the place on the roads that I have. I like it tight to where I'm not hearing rattles and all the other crazy stuff.
Yeah. Hey, so uh I need to address the chat one
Sure.
second because they are talking about a chair.
The Nemo Moonlight.
Yeah, and I'm going to show it here.
Okay, cool.
What? Is this the one you guys are talking about? It does look pretty light.
That does.
1 pound, 2 ounce, strong cordage woven from smooth premium aluminum pole ball socket. Blah 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 blah.
Does it give dimensions of it set up?
Hold on. I don't. Well, let me go to overview here. 1 pound, 2 ounce, patent pending. Here we go.
Right there. Yeah.
18 by 19 by 23.
That's not bad.
No,
That's not
it's
bad
actually,
for a pound.
well, I'm out. Looks fine to me, but I'm out.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's okay, aluminum. So I bet that's aircraft aluminum or something like that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Halfway decent.
Anyway, they were talking about it, so I wanted to show it.
Yeah, it's funny you do that because I do have like two different chairs for overlanding. I have the high back chair, and then I
Yeah.
have the smaller version for backpacking, which I never even used to carry a chair when I was, one of those things I didn't worry about. But I found myself finally, like hiking more and more with friends that always have them. It's like everybody's able to sit together. It's like, okay, now I don't have to build a bench or something. So
John's finally light enough to sit in that. John, I am not
good
too
for you, buddy.
far. Yeah, I am at 272 now, so I'm about 14 pounds down in about 3.5 weeks.
Good for you.
But I'm eating meat, salt, water.
The chair, Jason, the chair comes with a pad for sitting also.
For sinking. He's talking about the ground. I think he's talking
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
the
I thought you
ground
meant
the ground
sitting and
sheet.
it adjusted. Okay. Oh, like a little.
Yeah, like a ground sheet, so you don't get your head stuck in the mud.
Did they take that from Justin? It's Good in the Woods. His duct taped little. Have you ever seen that?
I've seen Keith. Keith made some feet out of plastic elbows from plumbing elbows, and some cordage.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, well, here's the funny thing. I want to bring up a couple of lists, and since we're on the gear topic, anyways, but I think what bothers me is when I started doing research for like overland, how you just jump down the rabbit holes and what you need. And I mean, granted, I kind of already had an idea because backpacking is the harder version of overlanding, if you
Yeah.
ask me. But I couldn't ever really find a good list. And I went and found this one list, and it's from Car and Driver, which you think a pretty popular magazine that might have a list. Could you bring that one up? It says 14 essential pieces of overlanding gear. Okay. So and this is the things that it lists. And to me, it's like I really don't think that any of those are necessary. Like there's alternatives for everything.
So is
One,
this the list right here?
this is the list. Yeah. Yeah. Our top picks.
I mean, those are nice tires.
They are nice tires, but I mean, KO2s. I mean, I love the Kenda cleavers that I have. I mean, anybody that knows anything about Kenda, they're a fantastic bicycle tire that won a lot of races. Now they're winning a lot of races out west and through the deserts and everything else. I mean, it's like literally they almost took some of the most expensive items and threw them in as must-haves.
A $4,000 rooftop tent.
Yeah, that's insane. It's insane. Smitty built makes a great rooftop.
Yeah, Carlson used to have one.
Yep.
$54 for a deflator.
I had a one made in Colorado that wasn't the ARB brand, but it was a generic one, and it worked just fine. So for like $20 compared to 80.
So they're saying that these lights are essential at $630.
My question is, how do you like your pod lights?
I love my LED pod lights from Colite. They are the best ever. I highly recommend them for their value and their brightness.
They are actually really bright though. I mean, they are fantastic. So, but
no, I do like them. I'm not being facetious, but I'm not going to pay $630 just because they're KC. I'm not doing that.
No, or
I don't do it enough.
Yeah, a Warren winch. I mean, that's not necessary. If you're truly overlanding, you can decide what trails you want to go on. I mean, it's not, you're not going in blind like you used to. I mean, there's so many good apps like the Appalachian Trail. If you think about that, when people used to do the Appalachian Trail, 20 years ago, you almost had to read a book and try to figure your way through it. Now Gut Hooks tells you every little thing about it, right? Well, now it's almost kind of getting the same with Onyx Off-Road. It tells you the trails, it tells you the obstacles, it tells you, how difficult it is. I know for me, if I'm doing an off-road trail, I don't want to do anything above like a level 7 because I might get into trouble. So it kind of keeps me out of to where I don't need a lot of those items on there, necessarily the recovery gear. So
Well, and you don't like. I get what they're talking about, and you do need a fire extinguisher. You don't probably need
yeah,
one that big,
yeah.
but I would say in this list, the only thing I truly believe is this: the max
You know, I
straps.
have a pair and I've never used them. They sit in the garage now.
I understand, but out of if I was to choose anything out of this list that
Yeah.
I would consider an essential, that would be the only thing.
You know what? I would choose a tire plug kit.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, but
You
it
know,
has
that
to
to
be
me, that would be the
worn.
number one.
It has to be worn, or has to be A or B, or some sort of
I
fancy
bought the
name.
green slime from Walmart. I plugged lots of tires with those. I mean, it does just fine. So, yeah, yeah. Oh, Tanya just joined the Subi family.
Ah, we gotta get her down to Kentucky then.
Oh, time to get it muddy.
Hey, I have a quick Kentucky joke since we got Kentucky boys in here.
Oh, okay.
Did you know that toothpaste was invented in Kentucky?
I know where this is going.
Because if it was invented anywhere else, they'd call it teeth paste.
Oh my goodness.
That's for you guys.
So John Kelly, you guys need a KC sponsorship. That's hilarious. Yeah, because then we wouldn't be bashing their lights as we're talking about.
Right. I'm
I
sure
mean,
they'll do it now.
yeah, yeah. They are great lights. I just can't justify that kind of money. I mean, you know, some of the guys that are out there that are practically living on the road, I get it. I mean, you need the items that's the difference in, you know, maybe a Nemo pad and a generic pad from Amazon. You know, it's going to last, it's going to do well, but for my weekend warrior and my 3 or 4 overlanding trips a year,
Yeah.
I don't need a
This
$630 pair of lights.
this list seems like a lottery list. Like
Yes.
if you
Yeah.
had unlimited funds, yeah, okay, get all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but okay, and this is the difference, all right? This is the difference in the overlanding community and the backpacking community. So let's bring up that backpacking essentials from REI. And this is a company that probably should advertise what specific items you should get versus like that list. I mean, to me, I'm like, you know, where's the blankets? Where's the quilts? Where's the water storage? You know, it had nothing that I really need to truly go overlanding.
This seems like more generic list, not an advertisement, though.
Correct. Correct. And that's the difference, you know, because I think a lot of times when it comes to like backpacking and overlanding, it's the same way as in these items are they're kind of personal. It's like whatever item tends to work for you. You know, maybe somebody okay, here's a good example. You know, John Carson, who is head of the Bronco Club in Kentucky, he's got KC lights. That's a big deal for him because he remembers the KC lights of old when he had old Broncos, and that was just
Yeah.
a thing that he wanted as a, you know, and they are super bright and they're really really nice.
It's a
He's
nostalgia
also
thing.
yeah, but he's also off-roading all the time. He's probably out in the wood. He probably would run into Jason if they were on the same roads. I mean, they're in the gorge quite a bit, both of them. So I can see that. But
Yeah.
I think there needs to be more of a push to, you know, looking at this is the generic group of items that you need to truly go overlanding versus buy this specific item and this specific item. I'm afraid it's getting too commercialized, which makes sense. I mean, there's a lot of money in it, but backpacking stove, fuel, I mean,
Cook
cook
set
set, I mean, all
with
that
pot
stuff.
grabber.
Yeah,
Dishes,
yeah,
bowl,
yeah,
eating utensil. I mean, okay, dishes and bowls. Depends on if you're depends on what you're eating. We all eat
yeah.
backpacking food, so you don't need that necessarily. Biodegradable, small, quick dry towel. Now, I will say that the one that hangs off my pack, and I think Jason uses the same one, that is essential because I have wiped my brow and other parts of my body with that so much.
Yeah. That's really revolting to think about.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you. I'm here. I'll be here all week.
Rod Outdoors, looking into a Jackery, started off car camping, then that evolved to car fridges, and then back. Hang on one second. Let me grab something. Just keep talking.
Oh, great. Yeah, no pressure there. So hi everybody. I The car was very fast. I don't know what to do with my hands. Oh wow! Hey, welcome back. Is that your Energizer one? Where'd you get that? Yeah, I can't hear you, bro. Yeah, you're miming. Nope. Got nothing. Technical difficulties. Please stand by. You lost your mic and your mind. Anyway, more about my pack towel. While Jeremy's figuring this out. No, you got nothing, bro. I can't hear you. Okay. Yeah, I think he might have yanked a cable, and that's not a euphemism for something. So let's get back to this list though, because there's some stuff. I mean, we all have different opinions on this. Let's see if he's coming back in here. Hold on, here you go. No, you might have yanked a cable. Rod Outdoors says you yanked a cable. And now you're on mute. I'm showing you on mute. Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on? Have you tried turning it off and back on? I can't hear you at all, man. You want me to finish the show? So anyway, guys, you be my interpreter. You be my deaf interpreter, and I'll talk and you do the sign language. Anyway, so backpacking. So what we're talking about here. Let's go. I'm going to bring back up that backpacking list. Moisture wicking underwear. Yeah. Okay. I would say a bandana or a pack tail is not optional. I'd say that's much needed. First aid, whistle. So in the comments, why is it scary? In the comments, tell me what is something that you've brought along on a backpacking trip that you brought it on several trips and you absolutely just never used it. I have several of those, but I'd be interested to see what people say with that. Oh, okay.
Can you hear me now?
There you are.
Okay, so I think a port just went bad.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
So, John, did you use a bandana or something like that instead for that? I have one of those little silicone GSI ones, pot holders that you put on, and I have brought it several trips and never used it. I've always used like a bandana or whatever. Oh, look, it's the future Mrs. Colbert. Hi.
Hi, Chris.
Yeah. Everybody say hi to my fiance. Yeah.
Oh, so Energizer. I got to tell you this.
Yeah. Is that your new one?
Yes. Let me try to back it up.
Let me make you bigger here.
Okay. So it's a, like a 320 watt hour. I can't remember the exact number, so I'm off a few watt hours, sorry. But it's also lithium ion phosphorus, and you can find them on eBay for $180, and it's guaranteed for like 8,000 cycles.
That's not bad.
No, it's a great deal. And actually, I was watching. There's this guy. He does YouTubes, and I swear he just does nothing but test batteries and.
Oh, is that the older guy?
Yeah, has the lab.
And he wears a lab coat sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yes, he did a test on it and actually tested out. I think because I guess
the thing I don't understand about these batteries is they say 320 watt hours, but their true watt hours are always way less for whatever reason.
So I had a very long discussion with Keith with Trail Medic about all things voltage, wattage, and things batteries, because along with his diesel heater hobby, he also enjoys the solar conversations.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we have figured out that your batteries are not what they advertise ever.
Yeah.
They're about 80% of what they advertise.
I was going to say, I think he said something like 83% or whatever. Yeah. And when he tested that one tested out the same as Jackery's and everything else, which was like 83, 84% or whatever number it was. But once I seen that, in the fact it is the current is it SIN compatible or whatever, to where you could use it for medical equipment or whatever. Yeah. So, but we got here.
Hey, Wendy, welcome, Wendy. The battery tech is nice. LifePo, yeah. Yeah, LifePo is the way to go right now.
Doesn't blow up. That's good to know.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So
yeah, we were just while you were figuring out your mic here, I asked what piece of backpacking equipment have you brought on several trips but you've never used, and John said that he brought his pot holder, but he just uses the orange cover from the pot, like the bag. You're talking about the bag?
Yep. On the totes.
On the totes. Yep. Yeah, I've used that.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
What do you bring now that you don't use, Jeremy?
Man, okay, so here's the crazy thing. I settled into a routine, and this may sound silly, but anybody that knows me, I'm like way over analytical. So I mean, it's kind of on borderline ridiculous. I think I settled into what I carry now by like my 5th trip. So I think that once, well, no, probably longer than that. I'll say 2nd year to be safe. By my 2nd year backpacking, I had my ULA Photon. I had my hammock that I carried. I had, the way that I set it up is the same, which is, setting the tarp up with the spider or the stingers. I use the tarp worms for the tarp also. The Dyneema straps.
Yeah.
The spiders, like for the hammock, to hang that up with. Yeah. I mean, honestly, the same Dutchware stuff I used by my 2nd year of backpacking in a hammock, I'm still using. Do
you change your cook kit? Because right behind me, I can count no less than 25 different types of cook sets and fuel systems and everything. I have something for every scenario, and I have used maybe 1/3 of it.
Okay, you want me to blow your mind on this?
Sure.
I have 2 cook pots. The one I took on my first trip, and then the one that I use now, the Tokes. It's like I think it's like a 850. I think, and then I mean, it looks pretty rough, but I mean, it still works. And then the other thing, let's see, there's one other thing. Oh, the stove, the BRS
3000
that I have now was the original one that I bought, and it still works.
Yeah.
So, and I bought it for $8, if that tells you anything.
I have a BRS I've never used, and I have 2 Fire Maple clones of the BRS that I've never used.
Yeah.
So okay, this giveaway at the meetup is going to be awesome. Because I'm moving, and I have to. Everything must go.
Well, okay, so when it comes down to it, like I bought 2 BRSs when I first got them, because I remember I didn't know anything about them. It was like kind of before the whole crave of those things popping out and everybody saying they're great stoves and all this other stuff. So I'm like, man, that thing's only,
They're not that great.
I mean, it works.
It works. It's functional, but I'd say they're not that well made. I think the Fire Maple one is more well made. See the link in the description. I'm just kidding.
So, but
I don't do that anymore.
Yeah. So I bought 2 of those because I'm like, $8. I'll buy 2 of them and then I'll give them a try because maybe the first one won't last that long. I still have the second one. I think it's somewhere in my workshop. It's still in the package, but I never really needed. I mean, it kind of is loose and doesn't stick together well.
I want to all this talk about this. I want to go grab my latest Fire Maple pot because because their new pot it's kind of like a jet boiler and it has the heat sink at the bottom, you know.
Uh-huh.
But
No, I
what
don't know.
they
Go get it and just don't unplug your mic.
No, I'm not. See, I'm good. Watch. This is how you do it. You back away slowly. All right, keep going.
Don't worry, John. I guarantee he has an affiliate link.
No, I'm getting out of that business.
The links never die.
Yeah, I know.
Tanya, you love your BRS. They're great. I mean, they work really, really well. It's something I've never had a problem with. So I think sometimes I get to the point to where if it still works, I don't want to change it because I'll end up hating whatever I replace it with.
Yeah, I got too much. I can't.
Okay, piece of gear that you guys couldn't wait to get rid of. Do you guys have any? I'm disappointed, Chris.
I can't find it. I got too much stuff. Yeah, I'm getting out of the review business. I will show you this though, and this is one of my latest. Let's do a little show and tell. This is one of my latest purchases, and I purchased this from Fire Maple. They have this aluminum cook set. Comes with a plate, aluminum plate. It comes with a little no stick 8-inch frying pan, and it comes with a no stick pot. And this is the coup de grace. It also comes with a pot grabber, and the thing that's great about it, it's got a spring.
Nice.
So
that's awesome.
Make your
okay. Now, would you consider that more of an overlanding cook kit, or
I would probably use this for overlanding? I would fry up some ribeye and steaks. I would take this in a backpack. I would take these 3 items.
Well, that would be nice to have that option.
Yeah, dude, I got every scenario you can think of.
Yeah,
and that's why I'm getting out of the business, because I can't hold any more of it.
Yeah. Well, okay, and now going to the overlanding scene for cook kit. Dude, I just bought like the plastic plate and cup that comes in the mesh bag. Like, that's all I need, and I still use it. I mean, it's all cut up. It looks bad because you can't use a real knife with plastic plates without it looking bad. Yeah. But you know, when it comes down to the pans and stuff, I got some cast iron. I just love cooking in. You know, and that
I love cast iron, and that's the advantage. So you can make real meals when you're overlanding. You can make, and you're not limited, but in not being limited, you're also taking a lot of stuff.
Right. Now, I think what I am starting to do is, okay, I don't need 3 different pans. I don't need like a wok. I don't need a skillet, and I don't need a pot. Okay, let's figure out something in the middle that I can maybe multi-use. So that's where I'm at now. Just like I did with backpacking, I don't need the Coleman pot that comes with like 3 different bowls inside it and all these other things I'll never use.
I gotta disagree with you.
Okay.
I gotta disagree, because I think normal overlanders don't. You do, because you feed everyone. That's why you bring all that stuff.
maybe like for meetups, yes, I'll bring probably a little more than what I normally would.
But you just yourself, if you know it's just like when you went out to Colorado, I'm sure you packed a lot less.
It was 1 tote. One tote. And then I used my backpack, my ULA, for all the quilts. That was all. And then I think I had another sack I used for my clothes. It wasn't very much at all. But it was great.
You saw what I had when you came to camp. Yeah. Vastly different. I had way too much for one person.
I started shaking when I opened. So when I opened up your tailgate. So it was kind of terrifying. Yeah. But at the same time, if I ever needed anything, I know you had it.
I do.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I need a carburetor from a 76 VW. Oh, yeah, I got that right here.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of, John, you're right. You can bring 2 burner stoves in overlanding trips. Those are nice. And it's funny you say that, because I have that 2 burner Coleman that looks fairly new. and it's one of those things that'll last forever. I'll use that for meetups, but then when I go to Colorado, I'm only going to use a single burner, and then I can put my percolator pot on top of my BRS, and it saves me a bunch of room. There is one thing I'd like to get as far as cook kit. I just can't bring myself to spend the money, as like a Descato. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Yeah, see if you can. Yeah, go ahead. I think the history of it.
Oh, you're talking about the. Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
those
the history of it is back in the day they actually used a plow disc to cook on, and it actually evenly heats because it's such thick metal really, really well. And you can make some really nice meals. If you're cooking a steak, you can cook it more in the center, then maybe move it off to the side and then cook your asparagus or whatever else. I mean, they're a little salty. I just can't bring myself, again, if for a few trips that I do, it's not necessarily worth the amount of money to spend on it.
Yeah, let me see if I can show this real quick here. It's a Descada. This thing.
Yes. Yeah,
right,
man, you can make some legit meals on those.
Well, that's
just the
that's not the burner.
No, that's just the hot plate, basically.
Well, it's just like a giant wok almost.
Yeah, it literally, in the olden days, it was a plow disc. That's all it was that they used for that, and then that's kind of how it evolved, I guess.
Okay, hold on.
27 pounds. Holy crap.
Yeah.
That is not ultralight.
John is he's interrupting my flow here. He sent me a text. Hold on. Yeah, I've seen those before. In fact, one of the channels I used to watch, an overlanding channel, Jason, what's his name? He's friends with the guy's friends with Ed. Jason Dora or whatever. He's in the van now.
Oh, something wilderness or
yeah, he was the first time I ever saw one of those.
Yeah.
And it was like and they are pretty nice, I have to admit.
Yeah. I mean, they just take up a lot of room. And that's another thing, you know, it's got to be up on this big tripod and you got a tank that you have to use for it. Or I'm sure some of them have the twist green canisters. Oh, we got Sloan in the chat.
Hey, Mark. Hey, are you back from Florida, bro? Are we watching old videos? Hey, so this is what John sent me.
Okay.
He said that this is what we need for overlanding trips.
So Sparky was buying one. I think actually Hammock Gear makes them. Like one of the. Yes, I am with you, John. 110%.
Jeremy, can you see you and I sitting in that and just high-fiving?
Yes, 100%.
Can you?
Yeah, that's really cool.
We're sitting there and like, oh man, it's great. This is great. Pass me some more bourbon.
That's right. Man. Yeah. I think actually Hammock Gear made one for their hammocks, so you can actually put like an 11-foot hammock out, because a lot of those are for smaller hammocks. Good call, Mr. John Kelly. Still in the Everglades.
Yeah. Sloan's in Florida.
That's an affiliate link.
Oh, great. Now anything I buy for the next 24 hours, you're gonna I'm gonna buy some underwear.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So, well, I'd tell you what, I mean, outside of the gear difference, I mean, there is a big price difference. I mean, especially when you're like starting to modify an overlanding rig, I have noticed.
But how do you, but what do you separate versus like the modding of the car is different than what you take in the backpack? Because I would think that the overlanding gear is the stuff that's outside of the mods.
I would almost venture to say it's probably like the difference between the guy that wants the chair and doesn't want the chair. What are you willing to spend and how far do you want to go? Right. So, or, I don't know, man. I think sometimes there are places like when I go out to Colorado and if I'm heading to Yankee Boy Basin, I need something. I can't just go on, 30-inch tires and hope to get there. It's not going to work out so well.
Right.
Like Red Cone. Actually bring up, if you want, my favorite views from overlanding. that's called Red Cone Pass. I mean, you can't do that with a very stock vehicle. You got to have some ground clearance. And this is just some of the views that I get to see, but at the same time, I need everything that's on my rig as far as the larger tires to get to that point to where I get these views. But you go ahead and play that if you want. I mean, you don't have to have the sound up.
Yeah, I can hear you crying.
Yeah, I wasn't nervous actually for whatever
No,
reason.
I mean crying because of the beauty. That's what I meant.
Yeah. But to get to that point to where you're going up on these mountains at like 12,800 feet, you know.
All right, so this is the first of one of the downhills. It kind of
I'd
gives
be
you the feeling like you're.
pants.
Yeah. I mean, it was a little. I guess once you put two tires on it, you start doing it. You really don't. It's not as scary as when.
Is this what you did before you came and met me in Colorado?
That was the same day. Yeah, right before my HAPE experience, I was up at 12,800 feet. Yeah, and I was at sea level like a day and a half ago. Yeah, yeah.
This is beautiful. This is beautiful, though.
Yeah, that's called Red Cone Pass. I mean, there's so much red in the mountains and in the creek that I can't buy. You can't. I wouldn't drink the water. I mean, there's just so much leaked iron that rusted that's in the water. Yeah. It was literally turning everything red. The sticks that were in it were red. I mean, it was crazy. But when you get up to those elevations above that tree line, so hello everyone. Overlanding kills your vehicle. Backpacking. Sparky, I love that guy, dude. I sent you a link. Don't hesitate to jump on if you want to, buddy.
Yeah, yeah, from someplace odd. Yeah.
No, that's hilarious. He is right about that. I mean, it does. Actually, let's talk about Mr. Sparky here. Okay. Talk about killing your vehicles.
No kidding.
That dude. Okay, so let's bring up what he did on his very first overlanding trip. Can you do that? The Spas Creek video.
Yeah, I didn't get a good timestamp on that. Where did? Hold on.
Shoot, it's on the sheet, but you probably
2820. Okay, hold on.
Yep.
2820.
Yeah, look at this dude. This dude is in one of the whitest trucks known to man. And he had the guy talking right there is John. Awesome guy. But Lance, that's Lance in the passenger seat right there. And when you look at how close he's getting, this was probably the one obstacle I was worried about that dude trying to get through.
John's a good spotter.
He is. But that took somebody looking at the back of the vehicle, one person on the passenger side, somebody on the driver's side. I mean, he had zero room to get through those rocks.
Look at him.
So, yeah, that's crazy. But then you go through something like that. You have all these people spotting him. Then you go to LBL, and then the dude has like the two trees he tries to get through. He just does it himself. Like, all right, I got this.
Yeah, I mean, no fear, obviously.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm taking, brand new vehicle. I'm gonna take the little weenie route around.
Yeah. Okay, and now that's another topic. All right, so overlanding. Are you worried about damaging your vehicles? Because it is going to get pinstriped, especially in Kentucky. You know, you're going to have some rocks kick up on you. I've done some damage. I mean, it's happened. Those are things that you have to embrace, right? So there's embracing the suck on the AT, but then there's also that while you're driving too. It's like, are you buying that vehicle to actually use it, or do you just like it and want to make it a daily driver?
I'm the second one.
Yeah.
I'm the second one. Okay. If I had,
I say, be honest.
If this wasn't my daily driver, I would modify it. Obviously, I would do more to it. But because it is my daily driver, I don't want to do crazy things in it. And because it's new to me. The Tundra, when it was near the end, I didn't care.
Right.
I was like, let's just use the skinny pedal. So
I think in LBL you kind of use the skinny pedal a lot in the Forerunner too, though, buddy.
I did through certain, I had to assess it for, am I going to really break this thing? Because I tell you what did it for me is when Carlson ripped off his step. I was like, okay, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Carlson kind of knew that was going to happen, though.
He did. He's been doing it a lot longer, and he knew it was going to happen. But I was like, nope, not going to happen.
So, well, okay. So the funny thing about Sparky saying that backpacking kills you, that poor guy. Okay, so if you don't know, that dude's been like my best friend since we were 18 years old. I mean, he's literally like a brother to me. He hates walking. He just hates it. But he went backpacking all those years just to see some cool spots, and he's terrified of heights. I mean, can you believe that? It's like, okay, now we're walking through Linville Gorge, or some of these places. I took him on the Goats Path in Red River Gorge.
So has he been up to the Eagle Buttress?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he has. Okay, because
that's height. He stays back. Back. He will not go to the edge. The worst was the Goats Path. You know that real narrow path that once you go up.
Yes, I know it well.
Okay, so I took him on that, not really thinking that he was worried about heights. He literally was looking at the wall the whole time. He would not look over to the side. But
I think Carlson did that in the dark, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. He did staircase in the dark. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, but what he's talking about is he hated walking, but that dude, and that was back when I was really like in that 15 to 20 mile mark, where I was really wanting to put in miles and had timelines, and I was worried about hitting those marks and getting to these places at this amount of time. Man, that dude, he would be frustrated with me because I was about, and he would ask like, how much longer? And I like, shouldn't be too much longer. And then, 3 hours later, you're there. But
that's interesting. I am Carlson's Sparky, because Carlson is like you.
Yeah.
And I am like Sparky. I don't really like to walk. Yeah. Good thing I have a hiking channel.
Well, okay. So I can remember the trip to this day. We were doing the Triple Crown in Virginia. And I think before we even started, I think we parked at the Andy Lane parking, and we were doing, is it the, oh gosh, been a few years. Is it North Mountainside? Yeah, the North Mountainside first. And we were going to go down and stay at the Boy Scout camp down by Dragon's Tooth and all that area.
Yeah.
And before we even started walking, he said, dude, he's like, do me a favor. I'm like, what? He's like, can we not be in a timeline today? Can we just, whenever we get there, we get there? And I had to sit back and think about it. It's like, okay, yeah, that's fine. And to me, that reigns as one of my favorite backpacking trips, because we actually took the time to sit back and enjoy that trip, which brings me to the difference. Is backpacking better than overlanding? Because you're not necessarily driving through all these spots. You're taking your time walking through them and maybe picking up on some of the things that you'd miss driving by.
But you can do the same thing. You can take the same approach to overlanding. You can just no agenda, like we've done that. Take a few trails, and remember how much fun we had doing that.
Yeah.
But then we've also had agenda driven stuff where we wanted to go see stuff, and we put a little pressure on ourselves. But so yeah, I think it's just what you want, if you have an agenda or not, and in what pace you want to take.
Yeah, I agree. Has anyone checked out the Turtle Bug hammock stands?
Hold on,
Kickstarter?
I've got it pulled up.
Never even heard of that.
Yeah, I've heard of it. It's self, and it's a self.
So it's collapsible.
Yeah.
See, that would be cool to have.
I just need to check the old weight limit. They got 4 sizes. That's pretty cool, though.
That's going to be decent. That's going to be, I mean, that looks pretty heavy duty.
I'm trying to find the weight limit. Oh, she looks happy.
300 pounds, John says.
Oh, good. Well, okay.
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say that I guarantee that's pretty decent. I mean, that's some pretty heavy.
Let's see now let's see what it costs to back it. I'm just curious of how much it would be. Oh, dude, that is not okay. The basic mini kit, chair, mini kit all out, basic lounger. Okay, now it's getting up there.
Yeah. Okay.
Comfort enthusiast. Ooh, that's what I am. I'm a comfort enthusiast. Complete lounger only. That's still not terrible.
Does that come
Okay,
with the hammock and tarp as your
Yeah, hammock stand, hammock underquilt.
underquilt?
Yeah, that's not bad.
What? That's solid.
Complete hammock camping kit. Stand, poles, hammock with bug screen, underquilt, synthetic though. Rainfly, $450.
Okay, so if I'm not carrying it, I'm not against a synthetic quilt, just
Yeah,
because the whole moisture aspect of it. It just
true.
you know. Um,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
not too bad.
no, good call out, John. That's really cool. I've never heard of that before. So,
Well, so
well,
how would you use some? You could use that while you were overlanding?
my problem would be the same problem I'd run into where at one point I wanted to bring a gazelle, because I think those are the best thing if you're overlanding and you have the room to house them. I personally think that is the best thing to have, just because the ease of putting them up, taking them down, the amount of
You
space
can
you
change
get,
clothes. You can
the
twirl
privacy.
inside them.
You twirl. No one sees you twirling. So
No one sees you twirling naked in your gazelle. Yes.
once again, thank you for the revolting thought.
Not a problem. You guys take that visual and run with it.
Yeah, but that, if I don't know, because to me it's like I'd almost rather have one that hooked up to my hitch, because then I could run maybe a tarp and I have everything right there on the back of the Bronco with the tailgate that swings open, because it doesn't just open up to 90 degrees. My tailgate goes like all the way open, so I could actually put something on the back of it. To
Now, I
me,
will say though, if the Slumberjack one that you have was easier to set up,
yeah,
and
yes,
that's almost ideal too.
it is. And what makes it ideal for me, it does take a lot longer to set up. But what makes it ideal for me is its footprint inside the back of it. I
Yeah.
mean, you're talking it's like that compared to a gazelle that's literally would be, I don't think I could fit it.
No, you
Actually,
can.
I think it from the back of my tailgate to the back of my seat, driver's seat, I don't think there's enough room. I think it'd have
No,
to go
and
diagonal.
see, Carlson had trouble fitting his. He had to fit his diagonal in the back of his Tacoma. It's about 6. They're about 6 feet.
Yeah,
But
that's
the Slumberjack, if you fix the rain fly problem, which I know you did,
yes,
that
yes.
I really enjoyed using that. I enjoyed. I just hated setting it up.
I like it. The one thing I would change, and did they change it on the new ones, but the tie outs on the side panels?
I don't think so, and I don't think that they make new
Oh
ones.
man, dude, I'm telling you, that is like I found ways around it. I'll take my cooler and shove it, or my totes or whatever. I'll bring it in there and I'll shove it up to one panel so it pushes it out. And then I'll do the same thing. I'll take my cot and push it way over with a tote, and the more I can get it poked out,
Yeah,
the better. I've thought about putting tie outs on it myself. I don't know. I'd be afraid that it wouldn't hold.
I'm going to show their site so people know what we're talking about. We're talking about this Slumber Shack 4-person tent shelter. I originally had it, and I gave it to Jeremy because I had it with my Tundra, and the thing I like about it is this awning right here where
I
you
love
can
the awning.
cook on your tailgate or whatever.
Yeah.
Now I have this still. I have this screen tarp, and I love that too. And I'm gonna try to use that with the 4Runner. So
Yeah,
I'm
so
never getting rid of this one.
I'm pointing to it like you could actually see if I was pointing to it, but the side panel on the 4-person Lumberjack. So where that side panel, where that vent is, I thought about, because there's a seam that runs right down that. Okay, yeah, you can see it really well now. That seam that runs diagonal.
Yeah,
I even
right
thought about trying to put some type of pull out on that side. I'm sure it'll mess with the zipper though. It just, unfortunately, as big as that side panel is, and then the other side panel is, those things just flap like tarps. I mean, that like a tarp in the wind if it gets really windy. So if it's not super windy or you got some cover, that thing's wonderful. It really is.
And you need a center pole right here.
Yes. And to be honest with you, I put one on the inside too to help with it, because water can pool up, and I've got it seam sealed. It doesn't leak, but just to as an extra factor, I put
Yeah.
a pole in the center of it too. So
Yeah,
looks
definitely.
easier to set up. Crickets look great. Oh, he's talking about the hammock, John.
Wow. Yeah.
$2.99 for the hammock. So cool, man. Well, awesome, fun chat tonight.
We didn't get to half of the what we're going to talk about.
No,
But
we never do. We never
Right.
do. It's all right. So that's the fun thing is we have all these extra things to talk about, and but we literally just have a conversation, and wherever it goes, it goes. But
yeah.
so I guess
So what's next for you?
as far as trips,
All right. Yeah. All right. Life. What's next in your life?
oh man, well, for probably lots of softball. Basketball season's wrapping up with the youngest. So proud of that kid. Oh my gosh, she's done so well. And now I'm super proud, as a dad should be, of my little softball player. So she's a freshman playing on JV, and so she's doing really well. So she just works so hard. And
Yeah.
I think as a dad, that's what I want. I don't want
Oh, yeah.
someone to, necessarily have things come easy. I wanted to see them work at it. And if they learn to work to things in life, then they're going to be way more successful later on. So, but the things that they're showing in the sports, and the attitudes that they're showing, and the support system that they're showing, it's great. So,
Yeah.
once we get through softball season, then definitely I want to get a byway trip going on down at the gorge.
Yeah. Already asked permission for that, by the way. I've already asked permission for that.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So I'm still talking to Bronkbuster. He was on last week. Tyler, he's interested in doing it as well too. So maybe he can make it. That'd be really cool. Either way, definitely would like to see John and Tyler down there and do some trails with them. And then in July, heading back out to Colorado with Mr. David Gray. So it should be exciting.
I'm literally heading there tomorrow.
I know.
And here's the thing: they're getting about 10 feet of snow. So I was going to do the Manitou Incline, which is that thing that goes up the side of the mountain, and it's like 2,938 steps or 638 steps. And I'm not doing it in snow though, so I don't know. We'll see what the conditions are. But yeah, I'm flying out tomorrow. I'll be back Wednesday.
Nice. Yeah. Well, and your snow is a lot deeper than the snow than anywhere else around here for sure. So
yeah,
I mean that's like an ender, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
How deep is it there? Do you know what they're estimating the depth is on some of those peaks? Have you heard?
Well, I heard 10 feet, and then
it's about average, isn't it?
No, and then I've also heard like what they are getting right now is about like 19 to 20 inches.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's amazing. I think when I went to Arizona, I couldn't believe how much snow was down close to like when I was going down into Phoenix from the Tonto National Forest, and then coming down from the heights of those. I think they call them the White Mountains. You might correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. No,
yeah.
right.
So it's the White Mountains in Arizona. So you're coming down from there. Dude, it was just blasting snow everywhere all the way till I almost got to the bottom and was down in Phoenix. I couldn't believe how much snow they had. That was when, I think they were in the 100 feet category in Flagstaff and all that craziness. So, but
yeah, which
awesome.
My buddy lives near Flagstaff out there.
Oh, Brian, right? Or is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, he lives near there, not too far from here.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody for joining us and for gear talk. It always turns into gear talk.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to have a couple more of these before we shut down for the season. So
yeah,
this was actually fun. It's kind of nice to just be able to carry on the conversation how we normally would on some real fun stuff. So there'll probably be a lot. Even John says, bring on part 2 next week.
I'll be in.
Yeah.
I'll be in Colorado, but I can't tell you when the next Campfire and Castles is. I just cannot tell you because it wasn't my fault last time because I'm so busy right now. I'm domesticated now, so I have a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. Everybody buy some soap from Tanya, please. Let's see if we can sell that out again.
Let me pull that up here, and
we can add a link in the description too. Definitely get some soap from Tanya before it runs out again. Oh my goodness, it is like the best smelling soap I've ever smelled in my life, next to Campfires and Castles. So,
right. Well, and
So-
it makes she does such a good job that my skin just feels like a baby's bottom when I use her soaps. So there's
Yes.
another visual for y'all.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. I will talk to y'all later. Till next time.
Beep, 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 beep. I really need that. I need that outro music, John. Okay, bye.